You may have heard recent reports in the media of an APS customer who died last year. Those reports indicate that the service was disconnected and the cause of her death may have been heat-related. First and foremost,
that was an APS vice president explaining on social media why the utility decided last week to suspend all power shutoffs to customers who can't pay their bills while it reviews its policies. What the APS executive doesn't tell you is APS cut off power to a 72-year-old woman's home on a 107-degree day last year. She died, and a medical examiner's report found the extreme heat contributed to her death. Not may have contributed to her death. Stacey Champion is the citizen watchdog who brought all this to light. You may recall she was on the show just a few weeks ago talking about her fight against APS's rate increase 2 years ago. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
This is just sickening, and I do want to make a point here. When a customer dies and the medical examiner says your company played a role in that death, you don't trot out a VP to say, may have. You send the CEO out there. Don Brandt, where are you? Now let's get to the backstory. What got you interested in APS and other utilities shutting off power to customers?
Well, throughout this entire process of my rate hike complaint and seeing how much it impacts people, and then having been interested in just for many years tracking the rise in heat-related deaths because of climate change, I have been paying attention to that rise every year. And so over the course of the past couple of years, I've been obviously delving into the rules and regulations to see what was there. And one of the glaring omissions that I saw in the Arizona Corporation Commission rules was the lack of any clarity on heat. And one of the utility shutoffs.
And one of the things you found was APS was required to report its utility shutoffs to the Corporation Commission, the regulators who oversee it, every year.
Correct.
But it didn't do that this year.
They didn't do it this year, and staff really hid the ball this year. I had
Corporation Commission staff?
Correct, and I had to submit public records requests for the information. The Corporation Commission staff went in at some point. I'm still waiting for FOIAs for that whole debacle.
Freedom of records request.
And they basically changed the 2018 annual utility report templates to omit only that information.
Let's say that again. What happened? The Corporation Commission staff did what?
They changed the template of the utilities annual report to omit only the shutoff and termination data.
What was the explanation?
Their first explanation was that it was to streamline the report.
Now, this was controversial because it showed that APS's shutoffs skyrocketed. Surged after they raised rates.
Correct.
You know, they argued they didn't shut off electricity after the rate increase, but then changed the rules after that. Do I have that right?
There were basically 2 months, March and April in 2017, where they didn't shut people off because they said, APS said they were switching to a new billing system. But if you look at the data, which had been there and publicly available from 2013 through 2017, if you even look at 2017 as an anomaly and take the average of shutoffs from 2013 to 2016, it was still 42% higher last year in 2018.
So 72-year-old Stephanie Pullman died in her Sun City West home. The medical examiner found the cause was advanced heart disease, but the contributing cause was the heat in her home. The power was shut off for 10 days. Are there more Stephanie Pullmans out there?
I think that there are absolutely more Stephanie Pullmans out there. I know for certain there are because I have read countless coroner reports at this point from indoor heat-related death. I think there are some gaps in the data. I think one of the proactive things, if the Arizona Corporation Commissioners are serious about this, that they could do is they could have the utilities, especially APS, share this data with the Maricopa County Health Department, who is doing a ton of of work on heat-related deaths, I think that there are very big questions that need to be answered.
And this story to be continued. Stacey Champion, thank you so much for the work you're doing.
Thank you. I just don't want any other people to lose their life over $51.
Well, APS says it's not going to happen. We'll see. That's our show for this week. Thanks very much to all of our guests. Thank you so much for joining us. See you back here next weekend for another round of Sunday Square Off.